Hello everyone, I'm Noah Grenier and I'm a wellness management major here at Oswego State. I'm here today to talk to you guys about two insightful articles I found about the health technology advancements, in some ways that it can help healthcare and ways that it can help physical activity rates. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about a video I saw that is by Charlie Kim. He goes on the road a couple times a year to talk to other people, actually multiple times a year to talk to people about various health topics, of how to get engagement from employees and stuff like that. So for starters, what we're going to talk about first is the video I just mentioned by Charlie Kim. This video goes over the enterprise gamification of fitness. So he said that when he came up with this this program to implement in his business, it was actually called the enterprise motivation of fitness, not gamification. So what he was saying is, basically he had the problem of trying to get 200 something employees that were engineers who were brought up in a way that they didn't really exercise too much, they didn't really eat healthy, so they were not very well taken care of, and it was just their upbringing. So it wasn't really their fault. It was just the environment they grew up in and their interests. It's just certain people have different ways that they go about life, and that was just one of the ways they went about it. So he said the problem was trying to get these guys active. So what he did was he discusses his 4-step process he implements to engage all of his employees. He first starts by making it a simple, obtainable goal, such as exercising twice a week for 20 minutes or more. Only 20 minutes. See how simple that is? They just have to get to the gym. He's just trying to get them there first before making it a more serious and less obtainable goal. He's just trying to get them there so they can build confidence. 2, he then ended up seeing that after a while it wasn't really working out, just the individual evaluations of fitness. So he switched it to a team building thing. So he had teams of 4, and the teams of 4 would actually turn out to work very well because people that weren't working out as much before were then being motivated by their teammates because it was a win-all-lose-all situation. So the teammates helped out there in implementing exercise for those of employees that were not doing too well. In addition, then he implemented a 3rd step once that was working, but he came to some limitations that people were feeling like after they won so many times that they couldn't go to any other level, they couldn't progress any further, and there was no motive. So what he did with step 3 was implement a reward system. The reward system actually was very helpful, and it increased engagement because people wanted to be recognized for rewards. So he had a couple of rewards. He had the Incredibles award, which was a bobblehead reward, that they would be giving employees a bobblehead during their conference meetings, so they'd be publicly recognized for their good doing in the company. They would also get a $2,000 raise in their next check for it. The biggest one was the Presidential Award. They would be giving out these little trophies with 2 steel balls on it. They were supposed to symbolize actually having balls of steel and being gutsy and taking the initiative to tackle the hard challenges that others don't and going above and beyond. So not only were they given that, they were giving a $10,000 pay raise, and some people that won that actually used the money they won to make T-shirts for their teams and to get their team more invested so they could keep winning and everyone could end up doing better for themselves. So we all saw that as working out, and then when it started to plateau a little bit, because everything has a limitation to how successful it could be, after it started to plateau, he implemented a 4th step, which was analyzing all the data with a couple of the engineers in his company that were interested in doing so, and they made a FitRank evaluation website. So what you could do is it was like a leaderboard, so everyone could evaluate their stats live, seeing how much exercise they've done, seeing how much exercise other people have done, which is kind of cool if you think about it, because it actually motivated people like a crazy amount. They ended up doing a lot more exercise. In the beginning of this, when he didn't implement the program, only 5% of his employees worked out twice a week at least. Now he has it to 80% of his company employees working out a week, which is pretty impressive. Now moving on to the article. This article was about artificial intelligence with a combination of using artificial intelligence and a mobile health app, or multiple mobile health apps that they already have out because they're gaining popularity, and how that can be used to revolutionize healthcare. So what they talked about in this was how you can use artificial intelligence in ways that we've never done before, and the reason for this is because there's a problem with healthcare right now, and it's going to be an inevitable problem that's going to catch up to us. They're predicting by 2035 that 12.9 million we're going to be short of 12.9 million healthcare providers, meaning that healthcare won't be as affordable, or it won't be as reliable, and the quality won't be that good. So they're already trying to implement something that can fix this so we don't have this disaster happen in the future. So with the use of artificial intelligence, this can actually, with a combination of artificial intelligence and mobile health app, this can eliminate the not pointless meetings with doctors or appointments you have with doctors where you're asking for allergy symptoms and what to do for those allergy symptoms, or if you have a rash, you go there for a cream or an ointment. So what they're going to do with artificial intelligence is these algorithms that are within the artificial intelligence can possess up to 100,000 different pictures of rashes, abrasions, you name it. They can detect the early signs of these different symptoms, so then they can point you in the right direction of how to treat it, and if it's serious enough, they'll point you to a doctor, so you don't have to have these appointments with doctors, so they can handle or use their time to handle more critical cases that might need their attention. So this will in turn lower the burden down on the healthcare providers. Additionally, artificial intelligence would allow all these mobile health apps to be much more effective with storing more information, making it more protective, so information won't be leaked as often. But moving on from that, we're going to go on to the third study. One of my favorite studies I found in the articles, it's about active fantasy sports. So active fantasy sports, what they're trying to do here is they have active video games that have been implemented over time. You may remember Wii Fit, Xbox Connect. They were popular for maybe the year that they came out, but then they started dropping off and plateauing at a steady rate because people didn't want to play them because it was more movement, not as much as the traditional sedentary games that we have today, like Fortnite and stuff like that, where it requires minimal movement. It's just all thumb and eyes. So what they're trying to implement is an effective way to grab the user's attention using active video games. So they had the idea of testing this on fantasy games, like you know how there's fantasy football, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball. Well, they decided to look at a fantasy, two groups. They had a fantasy baseball and a fantasy basketball team to test how effective this would be. So what they did was, how normal fantasy leagues go is there's no physical activity required. It's just you draft a team, and then you just watch how it goes throughout the season, trying to put in the players for the right slot. If you think they're going to get more points than the other person you're playing. So the reason why they want to use this as a platform is because it's a very, very popular platform and it has a wide reach. So there is a very good potential for other people who see this new game mode when it comes out to actually want to use it, because there's already so many different people. There's millions of people who play fantasy sports because it's a very popular traditional sedentary game. So not only is it good because of the platform it's on, but also it is very important to note that a lot of these people who are playing you can actually see that they are drafting the players they draft because they think those players are related to them, are relatable to them. They think that either their religion, their background, where they came from, those are things that they can feel like they're a part of. They feel like they have a relatedness to those athletes, so they'll feel more engaged because they'll be checking those every day. They'll check their stats because they'll be into it and it's fun. And what they were going to do is implement exercise through the league leaders. So the people who are in charge of the league would implement a goal every week of a certain amount of physical activity, like such as a certain amount of steps per week. So by doing that, it would require people that are in the league to do it like 10,000 steps in a certain amount of days, or a certain amount of steps at the end of the week, so that people would be following along with their players when they're playing, as long as following along with implementing a goal of increasing physical activity. Throughout the trial, throughout the study, they actually found that the results were supportive of fantasy sports actually being implemented into an active video game system, because people actually loved it because of it already being a popular traditional sedentary game. So since they already heard about it, they've already used it, they were familiar with it, the apps are very easy to use, and it's economically friendly because everyone can use it. It's a free feature on on ESPN. So everyone can get to this information if they need to. And you can customize your leagues to the skill set of other people. So that means other people are going to be playing people that are just as good as them or just as aware as them, same physical activity level as them. So it won't be like you'll have a pro athlete with a non-pro athlete trying to do the same physical activity requirements, because that just wouldn't work out. But the results did support that people in the league were actively engaged and following the stats of the players and the requirements of the league. So if you guys want to figure out or find out any other information that is coming from me about these articles in the video, please visit my blog post. It's going to be attached to the blog post on WordPress. So any other questions that's not answered on my blog, please shoot me an email through the contact page. Thank you.